Hey guys, it's Quick Math Tips, and today I'm going to go through paper 1 for 2019. Let's get started. So, question 1, there are only blue cubes, red cubes, and yellow cubes in a box. The table shows the probability of taking at random a blue cube from the box. The number of red is the same as the number of yellow. So there are the same amount of red cubes as there are yellow cubes inside this box. Complete the table. Now, we know probability always adds up to 1. Whether you are doing decimals, fractions, your probability is always going to add up to give you a total of 1. So to work out the probability of red and yellow, I'm going to do 1 subtract 0.2, which is a probability we already have been given. And we are going to get 0.8. So the total of red and yellow is going to be 0.8. And the question says the probability of both of them are going to be the same. So we can just half it. So half of 0.8 is going to be 0.4. The probability of red is going to be 0.4 and yellow is going to be 0.4. So now if you added them all together, you can see that the total is going to be 1. Now it says there are 12 blue cubes in a box. Work out the total number of cubes. Now we know the probability of blue is 0.2. So 0.2 is equal to 12 cubes. You need to work out how many cubes are in the box altogether. And we know that probabilities are out of 1. So the total is going to be 1. How do you get from 0.2 to 1? You multiply it by 5. So whatever you do on this side, you're going to do on this side too. We'll multiply this by 5 and you will get a total of 60 cubes. So in total, there are going to be 60 cubes in the box. Okay? All right, let's carry on. Dion needs 50 grams of sugar to make 15 biscuits. She also needs 3 times as much flour and 2 times as much butter. Dion is going to make 60 biscuits. Work out how much flour she needs. Okay, so first and foremost, 3 times by 50 is going to be 150 grams. And 2 multiplied by 50 is going to be 100 grams. Okay, so she's going to make 60 biscuits. So you know for flour we need 150 grams for 15 biscuits. Okay, now we need to make 60. How do you get from 15 biscuits to 60 biscuits? You multiply it by 4. So you're going to multiply this side by 4 as well. To make 150 multiplied by 4 a bit easier, what you're going to do is you're going to do 15 times 4. And we already know here 15 times 4 is 60. So that's going to be 60. And because it's 150, add another 0. So you're going to need 600 grams. And that's it. Next question, Dion has to buy the butter. She has to buy all the butter. She buys it in 250 gram packs. How many packs of butter does Dion need to buy? Now, we know for butter, we're going to need 100 grams for 15 biscuits. Again, we are making 60 biscuits. To get from 15 to 60, we multiply by 4. So we're going to multiply this side by 4 as well. And we are going to need 400 grams. But the packs are only sold in 250. So one packet is going to be 250. That's not enough. So if I get 2 packets, it's going to be 500. Now we have enough. It doesn't matter if there's extra. There just can't be less. Okay, because you can't. If you have less, you won't be able to make the biscuits. Okay, so you need at least 2 packs to get 400 grams of butter. Okay, all right. Find the highest common factor of 72 and 90. So what we're going to do is we're going to create factor trees for both these numbers. So the factor tree for 72 is going to be 2 and 36. 36 divided by 2 is 18. 18 divided by 2 is 9. And 9 divided by 3 is 3. So 72 as a product of its factors, prime factors, is going to be 2 times 2 times 2 times 3 times 3. Now we're going to do the same thing for 90. So it's going to be 90 is going to be 2 and 45. That's going to be 3 and 15. That's going to be 3 and 5. So 90 is a product of its prime factors is going to be 2 times 3 times 3 times 5. Now what we're going to do is create a Venn diagram. So we're going to create a circle that overlaps with another circle. So this circle represents the factors of 72 and this circle represents the factors of 90. So we're going to find the matching ones and put them in the middle. So we've got a 2 that's matching that goes in the middle. We've got a 3 that's matching that goes in the middle. And then we've got another 3 that's matching that goes in the middle. So there's 2 extra 2s here and there's 1 extra 5 here. Now, if you're working at HCF, the highest common factor, you just multiply this middle section here. if you're working out lowest common multiple, you will multiply everything in the Venn diagram. This question is HCF, so you're just going to do 2 times 3 times 3, which you can work out in your head. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 multiplied by 3 is 18. So the highest common factor that goes into these two numbers is going to be 18. Let's carry on. The diagram shows the plan, front elevation, side elevation of a solid shape drawn on a centimeter grid. What does a centimeter grid mean? It means each square is going to be 1 centimeter, so it's 1 by 1. Okay, so 4 of them would be 4 centimeters, etc. Now if you look at it, plan is what the shape looks like from the top. Okay, so what shape looks like this from the top? You're going to have to imagine this is going to look something like this. Okay, obviously a bit smaller, but actually that's it, it's going to look like this. So a cylinder, but like a tin, if you want to imagine it in real life. So you're going to sketch this out. It doesn't matter if your sketch is not accurate, you just need to use a pencil. So we are going to sketch out a tin. Now, my drawing is terrible. It says give dimensions, so you are going to be based on dimensions. So it doesn't matter if you do big, small, as long as you have your dimensions. Now we're going to look at the diameter of this, which is 1, 2, 3, 4 centimeters. So we are going to say that this is 4 centimeters, and then we're going to look at how tall, how high it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 centimeters. So this here is going to be 5 centimeters. I know it's centimeters because the question says that this is a centimeter grid. Okay, so the question has actually told us. All right, let's carry on. Shape A, let's zoom out a little bit. Okay, shape A can be transformed to shape B by a reflection in the x-axis. So let's have a look at that first. If I reflect shape A in the x-axis, it is 2 away from the 3 and 2 away from the 5. So it's going to be 2 away, your point is going to be here. 2 away, your point is going to be here. And 5 away, your point is going to be here. Now, obviously, you're going to use a ruler to join this up. I can't find my ruler. All right, so if I join that up, this is my new shape. Now, this shape has now been, so you can shade it in if you want to. All right, so this shape has been transformed to give you shape B. Now, transformed by a vector, what direction has it moved in? So we're going to count that now. Let's do from point to point. From this point to this point, it's moved 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 places to the left, and a vector, the top is right or left, and if it is left, it's going to be negative, so it's going to be -6, and then it's moved 1 down, so it's going to be -1. So the top number is right or left, positive is right, negative is left, and the bottom number is up or down, positive is up, negative is down. So the value of C is going to be -6, and the value of D is going to be -1 for this question. Okay, all right, let's carry on. A shop sells, packs of black pens, red pens, and green pens. There are 2 pens in each packet of black pens. There are 5 pens in each packet of red pens. 6 pens in each packet of green pens. On Monday, the number of packets sold, the number of packets of black pens sold to the number of packets of red pens sold to the number of packets of green pens sold was 7 to 3 to 4. So what I'm going to write down is a ratio. Black to red to green. Okay? Now this is going to be packets, the ratio of packets. So 7 to 3 to 4, I will write that out. 7 to 3 to 4. Now in terms of individual pens, I'm going to work that out. So there are 2 in this packet, so multiply that by 2. There are 5 in this packet, and there are 6 in this packet, so multiply these out to get how many pens there are. So I'm going to get 14 ratio 15 ratio 24. This is how many individual pens sold. Now, we know that a total of 212 pens were sold. So now we're going to work this out as a normal ratio. We're going to add up the total numbers. So, sorry. You're going to add this up by doing 14, add 15, add 24, which is going to give you 3 here. Carry the 1, that's going to be 53. So the total number of parts is 53. So you're going to do 212 divided by 53. You're probably thinking, oh my god, how am I going to divide by 53 on a non-calculator? So I'm going to show you. Just write out your 53 times tables. So 53, 50 plus 50 is 100. 3 add 3 is 6, so 106. Add 53 to that, you are going to get 159. Add 53 to that, you're going to get 212. So this is 1 times table, this is 2 times table, this is 3 times table, and this is 4 times table. So 212 divided by 53 is going to be 4. That's it. Okay? Right, now, you need to multiply this by 4. So the ratio of black to red to green is 14 to 15 to 24. You need to multiply it by 4 because 212 divided by 53 is 4. You only need to do it for green pens, though. You don't really have to do it for all of them. You can if you want to. If you do, you will get 56 to 60 to 96. But you only really need the green ones. So you multiplied all of them by 4. So 96 green pens were sold. And we write that here. 4-mark question. Okay, 96 green pens were sold on... Was it Monday? Or that day? That day. Oh, yeah, it was Monday. Okay, next question. Here are 2 rectangles. QR is 10 centimeters. So let's start by labeling it. What is QR? This is QR. This is 10 centimeters. Now, BC equals to PQ. So first, straight away, I'm going to label these as algebra. This length is equal to that length, so I'll call them X. Straight away, I know that's X. I know that's X as well. Just for me to label it. Now, the perimeter of ABCD, so the perimeter of this one, the total, if you add up all the total sides for this one, is going to be 26. And the area for PQRS is 45. Work out AB. So we are working out AB. I'm not going to call it X because that's X and it's a different length. So I'll call it Y, which means obviously that one's Y as well. Now the area for this PQRS is 45 centimeters squared. I know that length times width is area, so length times width equals area, and I substitute my values, which is 10 multiplied by x equals to 45. I divided by 10 on both sides, x equals to 4.5. Okay, so because x is now equal to 4.5, I know, sorry, this one is 4.5, but I also know for this one, this also has an x, is 4.5. Because x is the same in all of this question. It's the same for this one as well. Now, if I created an equation for this rectangle's perimeter, I'm doing 2x add 2y, and the total perimeter is 26 centimeters. Now, I know the value of x is 4.5, so I can substitute that in. So 2 multiplied by 4.5 plus 2y equals to 26. 2 multiplied by 4.5, so 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 4.5 is 9. 9 add 2y equals to 26. Subtract 9 on both sides to work out the value of y. You get 2y equals to 17. You divide it by 2 on both sides. Y equals to 17 divided by 2. You can work that out without a calculator. 16 divided by 2 is 8. So 17 divided by 2 is 8.5. So y equals to 8.5. And that's it. You have the length of AB. So in your answer, you will say 8.5 centimeters. Again, a 4-mark question. Okay? All right. Let's carry on. Done that page. Work out an estimate for the value of 63.5 times root 101.7. Right, when it says estimate, you need to round. You can't round it to 63. Obviously, we're not going to know the square root of 63 in our head, but we're gonna round it to the nearest square number. So these are fairly easy. The closest square number to that is 64, and the closest square number to that is 100. Don't forget these are being multiplied. Now the square root of 64 is 8, multiplied by the square root of 100 is 10. That's it, you get 80. Okay? Okay, so this one's a bit of a challenging question. You need to think a little bit for this one. So 2.3 to the power 6 equals 148. Find the value of 0.23 to the power 6 correct to 3 significant figures. But you're doing this without a calculator again. How did you get from 2.3 to 0.23? What are we dividing it by? We are dividing it by 10. So let's write this as a fraction. So you're doing 2.3 divided by 10 is going to give you 0.23. So that's the same thing as that, but written as a fraction. And this is to the power 6. Now, when it's to the power something, that applies to the top and the bottom of the fraction. So 2.3 to the power 6, it tells us in the question it's 148 to 3 significant figures. And 10 to the power 6 is a million. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 zeros. Now, when you are dividing by 10, 100 or something with zeros, your decimal place is moving to the right or the left. Okay, so it's going, your decimal point is right now 148 is here, but it's moving 6 places to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you're left with 0.000148 to 3 significant figures. Find the value of 5 to the power minus 2. To get rid of a negative, we do the reciprocal. The reciprocal of 5 is 1 over 5. The power 2 is still there, so we square it. 1 over 5 squared is 1 over 25. And that's it. Okay. Let's carry on. Work out 3.5 times 1 over 3/5. So what you're going to do is you're going to convert them into improper fractions. That's the name. So 3 multiplied by 2 is 6. Add the 1 is 7. That is 7 over 2. And then 1 multiplied by 5. 5 add 3 is 8. So multiplied by 8 over 5. Now instead of, there's nothing wrong with multiplying out these numbers as it is. But you can simplify it because opposite numbers can simplify. So 7 and 5 don't simplify, but 8 and 2 do. So they are both divisible by 2. This becomes a 1. This becomes a 4. 7 times 4 is 28. And 1 times 5 is 5. You would have gotten 56 over 10, which simplified to give you 28 over 5. If you simplify when you're working out, it saves you from simplifying your answer. Okay? All right, now this is an improper fraction. How many times does 5 go into 28? It goes into it 5 times with the remainder of 3. So 5 and 3 over 5, that is your answer. Okay? Righty, let's carry on. The graphs with the equations, so these are the equations, we're not going to read them, have been drawn on the grid below. Using the graph, find the estimates of the solution. Now, these are very complicated equations. You're not going to start solving these simultaneous equations algebraically. You don't need to. This is only 2 marks. What you need to do when you've been given a graph is read it. To solve simultaneous equations, you are solving where the 2 lines are meeting, the coordinate. Remember, you got an x and a y answer. That's a coordinate of an x and a y. That's it. So you don't overcomplicate it when you have a graph. Make sure you're just reading it. So if I go up here, obviously when you have a paper, it will be much more accurate than if you're looking at it on a screen. That looks to me about 2.25. So x is 2.25. And then if I go here, that looks like minus 1.3. Again, you will be given a range of answers. So if you say 2.24 or 2.2, you won't get marked down because, you know, it depends on the paper. Okay, a bus company recorded the ages in years of the people on coach A and the people on coach B. Complete the table below to show information of the ages of people on coach A. So to work out the median, what you're going to do is you're going to cross the person at the top and the highest person and the lowest person, and you're going to keep going until you reach the middle. Now I'm going to cross a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You're going to keep doing that. You're going to go from this side and this side, cross off as many people as you can. The middle is going to be here. Okay? I'm not going to cross it because I need to cross it twice. So preferably use a pencil and a rubber for this, because then you're going to need to cross off for upper quartile and lower quartile again. All right, so the median is going to be 59. Now, to work out the lower quartile, I'm going to look at this and I'm going to cross off on the lower quartile. I'm going to go to the first half, and I'm going to keep narrowing it down until I get right to the middle. So if I narrow down 5 from this side and 5 from this side, I'm going to get 53, which is the lower quartile. I'm going to do the same thing for this side. I'm going to keep going to the middle and keep narrowing it down. Obviously, be more accurate, cross them out. And I'm going to get the middle, which is 66. Okay, let's write that with a pencil. Pen. 66. All right, now, Richard says that the people on coach A are younger than the people on coach B. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to compare the median. Okay, so the median on coach A is 59, whereas the median on coach B is 70. So yes, he's correct, and we have a reason. You have to give a reason. So yes, he is correct because median is lower on coach A. Okay, so we have one more question for this. Okay, so it says Richard says that the people on coach A vary more than the people on coach B. Okay, so he's saying A has more different ages than B. Let's work that out. So what we're going to work out is the range and the IQR. So range is greatest take away lowest. So 79 take away 41. And the range is going to be 38. For IQR, which is more accurate, you're going to do the upper quartile take away the lower quartile. So 66 take away 53, which is going to be 13. Same thing for this one. So greatest age, 85, take away 42, 43. And then you're going to do the IQR, which is the upper quartile, take away the lower quartile, 73, take away 54, and you get 19. Okay? So he's saying that the people on coach A vary more than the people on coach B. Okay, so if we're going to look at that, that's not true, because the range and the IQR is bigger on coach B and it's smaller on coach A. So they vary more on coach B. Okay, so you're going to say no, that's your reason, and you've given a reason. No, range and IQR is bigger for coach B. Alrighty, let's carry on. Here are three spheres. The volume of Q is 50% more than the volume of P, and the volume of R is 50% more than the volume of Q. So we're going to start off with 100% because percentages are always out of 100. So you start off this one at 100%. Now, if it is 50% more, it is half more. So you're not just adding 50% each time. Okay, you're going to be multiplying it by if it's 50% more, it is half more, so you need to multiply it by 1.5. So you're going to be multiplying it by 1.5. 100 times 1.5 is going to be 150%. And then again, this is also 50% bigger, so you're going to multiply this by 1.5. Now, this might be a little hard, maybe not a really good explanation of how I did 150 times 1.5, but I'll show you. If you do 150 times 1.5, I want to move this decimal place one place, and I want to move this one back. So this cancels out, and they both become 15. So if you're doing 150 times 1.5, it's the same thing as doing 15 times 15. 15 squared is 225. So this is going to be 225%. Now, the question is not done. It says find the volume of P over R. So P is 100 over 2.225. So 100 divided by 225. I'm going to divide the top and the bottom by 25. So 100 divided by 25 is 4, and 225 divided by 25. 25 goes in 208 times, so 225 goes into 9 times. So your answer is 4 over 9 as a fraction. Okay? Okay, given that n can be any integer that is bigger than, so n is bigger than 1, prove that n squared minus n is never an odd number. Okay. So, n squared minus n. I'm going to factorize it and pull out n. So, inside my brackets, I'm going to have n minus 1. So, therefore, what does this mean? That n is multiplied by n minus 1. Now, if n is even, so if you have 4, the number after that is 5. If the number 4 is even, the number after that is 5, which is odd, and the number before that is 3, which is odd. So if you have an even number, if you go one more, it becomes odd. If you go one less, it becomes odd. If you have an odd number, you go one more, it becomes even. You go one less, it becomes even. Okay, so think about your numbers in order, like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If you pick an even number, the one before and after it are going to be odd. If you pick an odd number, the one before and after it are going to be even. Okay, that's just the rules of even and odd. So if n is even, the one before that, so n minus 1, is going to be odd for sure. If n is odd, then n minus 1 is going to be even for sure. There is no other way. Okay, because you're looking at the number before it. If you have an odd number, the one before it is going to be even. If you have an even number, the one before it is going to be odd. There is no, that's a fact. Okay, now we are doing n multiplied by n minus 1, sorry. So you are either doing an even multiplied by an odd or an odd multiplied by even. Even multiplied by odd will always be even. And odd multiplied by even will always be even. Whenever you multiply a number with an even number, it will always be even. I'll test it out. So if you did 2 times 7, you get 14. If you did 8 times 7, you get 56. Whenever you do an even number, whenever you do an odd number multiplied by an even number, you're going to get even. Okay, so you're going to say, therefore, your answer is never odd. And that's your proof. Okay? All right, find the exact value of tan 30 multiplied by sine 60. So what I'm going to do is, this is how I know my sine. You can straight away know this by heart. You can say, I know that tan 30 is going to be 1 over root 3 and sine 60 is going to be root 3 over 2. You can know that straight away if you know these by heart. If you don't, I will show you how to do it. So this is a root, that's sine, that's cosine, 0 degrees, 30 degrees, 45 degrees. 60 degrees and 90 degrees. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, and the whole thing is divided by 2. Now to work out, I'll show you how to work out tan in a second. Sine 60, if you look at it here, sine 60 is root 3 over 2. So sine 60 we have worked out is root 3 over 2. That's it. Now tan is a little bit more different. To work out tan of a number, tan theta, you need to do sine of that number divided by cosine of that number. So you need to do, to get tan 30, you need to do sine 30 divided by cosine 30. So sine 30 is 1 over 2, so root 1 over 2. And cosine 30 is root 3 over 2. Oh, wait, I'll write that out, sorry. Cosine 30 is root 3 over 2. Now, you are doing sine divided by cosine. Instead of writing that fraction sign, we're going to do the actual divide sign, which is a half divided by root 3 over 2. How do you divide fractions? Keep, change, flip. So you're doing a half multiplied by 2 over root 3. So you're left with 2 over 2 root 3, which just cancels out and gives you 1 over root 3. So you know that tan 60 is 1 over root 3, and tan 30 is 1 over root 3, and sine 60 is root 3 over 2. So now you will multiply these together. Because you've got root 3 on these two sides, they cancel out, or you'd be left with root 3 over 2 root 3. The root 3 is cancelled out and you're left with a half. So your final answer for this question is going to be a half. Okay? All right, I really like this question, actually. Let's do it. This is non-calculator volume, and questions are really cool. Okay, now here we've got not a sphere, we've got a hemisphere. Half of a, like, let's say a ball is going to be called a hemisphere. Okay, now the volume of a hemisphere, you're going to be halving this. Now if you halve this formula, you can write it out like this. So instead of saying 4/3, you can be multiplying by 2, because you're going to do 4/3 and then you're going to half it. So you can just write it out simpler. So volume of hemisphere is going to be 2/3 multiplied by pi multiplied by radius cubed. That's it. Now, in order to get the total volume, so we're talking about the volume. So the height of this is 10, the diameter is 6. We need to work out the total volume of this shape in terms of pi. So to work out the total volume in terms of formulas, we are doing 1/3. So the volume of the cone, we are doing 1/3 multiplied by pi multiplied by radius squared multiplied by height. Plus, we are doing the volume of the hemisphere, not the whole sphere, because it's half. It's like a half a ball, like a bowl. So you're doing 2/3 multiplied by pi multiplied by radius cubed. Now in this question, we know the radius is 3 because the diameter is 6, and we know the height is 10. So these are the numbers we're going to substitute into this question. So let's start substituting. 1/3 multiplied by pi multiplied by 3 cubed multiplied by the height, which is 10, added to 2/3 multiplied by pi multiplied by 3 cubed. All right, let's break this down. 3 squared is 9. 9 multiplied by 10 is 90. So we're left with 1/3 times pi times 90 plus 2/3 times pi times 3 cubed is 27. Okay? Now here, 1/3 of 90 is 30. So we are left with 30 pi in this whole bracket is done. And now here, what you're going to do is you're going to do 20. You divide by the bottom number and you times it by the top. So 27 divided by 3 is 9. 9 times 2 is 18. So again, 27 divided by 3 is 9. 9 times 2 is 18. So you're adding 18 pi. If you add those two together, 30 and 18, you get 48 pi. Now the question asks you for k pi centimeter cubed. So the value of k is the number before pi, and the number before pi is 48. Therefore, k is equal to 48. And that's it. 4 marks. Okay, let's carry on. There are 3 dials on a combination lock. Each dial can be set to one of these numbers. So, okay, what is the different possibilities that we can use for this combination lock? Now, there are 5 options for the first go, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 options for the second round, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there are 5 options for the third one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you're going to do 5 times 5 times 5, which is 125. There are 125 possible ways to do this. How many of the possible 3-digit numbers have 3 different digits? So the first option, you have 5 different numbers. Now, whatever number you pick the first time, you can't pick it again. So there's only 4 options left. Now, whatever number you pick the first time and the second time, you can't pick those. So there's only 3 options left. So you multiply it by 3. 5 times 4 is 20. 20 times 3 is 60. So there are only 60 different combinations where all 3 of the numbers are different. Okay? Question 17. Given that x squared ratio 3x plus 5 equals to 1 ratio 2. Now, when you have algebraic ratio, this divided by this equals to this divided by this. So I'll show you. X squared divided by 3x add 5 is going to equal to 1 divided by 2. Now, when a fraction is equal to a fraction, we cross multiply. So I'll multiply this denominator with that numerator and this denominator with that numerator. So I'm left with 2x squared equals to 3x plus 5. It multiplies by 1, so it just stays the same. Now, this is a quadratic equation. In order to solve a quadratic equation, I need to make it equal to 0. So I'm going to subtract 3x and subtract 5 on both sides. I will be left with 2x squared minus 3x minus 5 equals to 0. This is your A value, this is your B value, this is your C value. We are now factorizing harder quadratics. 2 multiplied by 5 is going to give me 10. Your factors of 10 are 1 and 10, 2 and 5. The 2 that add to give you negative 3 are going to be negative 5 add 2. So I will split minus 3 into minus 5 plus 2. So I'm left with 2x squared minus 5x plus 2x minus 5 equals to 0. I will split this down the middle. I will factorize this side. What can I pull out of this side? I can pull out an x. 2x squared divided by x is going to be 2x, and minus 5x divided by x is going to be minus 5. Now, whatever I get in the brackets on this side, I will get the same bracket on the other side. 2x minus 5 divided by 2x minus 5 is just plus 1. Your final 2 brackets is going to be the repeated one, which is 2x minus 5, and the stuff on the outside, which is x add 1. This is equal to 0, so now I need to solve to find the values of x. Both of them are individually equal to 0. I will rearrange to make x a subject. So add 5 on both sides, 2x equals to 5. Divided by 2 on both sides, x equals 5 over 2. X add 1 equals to 0. Subtract 1 on both sides, x equals to minus 1. And those are your 2 solutions. So x equals to 5 over 2 and x equals to minus 1. Okay? Alright, let's carry on. Now this says express root 3 plus root 12 in the form a root 3 where a is an integer. So I'm going to simplify this third. So the biggest square number that goes into 12 is 4. So I've got root 3 plus root 4. 12 divided by 4 is 3. So root 4 root 3. The square root of 4 is 2. So I'm left with root 3 plus 2 root 3. Now, I'm going to simplify this together. This, just because it doesn't have a number in front of it, doesn't mean it doesn't count, okay? So this counts as 1. So 1 add 2 is 3. My final answer is going to be 3 root 3. Now, I've got 1 over root 3 to the power 7, which means it's multiplied by itself 7 times. So I'm actually going to write it out, and I'm going to write them out in pairs. So I'm going to say 1 over root 3 multiplied by 1 over root 3. Multiplied by 1 over root 3, multiplied by 1 over root 3. I've got 4 of them. I need 7 of them. So I'll do it again. 1 over root 3 times by 1 over root 3. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in pairs. And I've got 1 more left over. So times by 1 over root 3. I know that root 3 multiplied by root 3 will cancel out the root. And it will become a whole number 3. So this bracket is going to give me a third. This bracket is going to give me a third. This bracket is also going to give me a third. This one's by itself, so it's going to stay 1 over root 3. 3 times 3 times 3 is 27, so this becomes 1 over 27 multiplied by 1 over root 3. I'm going to simplify this further, and I'm left with 1 over 27 root 3. However, this is not in its simplest form, and it's not how in the form root b over c, which the question wants it to be. So I'm going to rationalize this. 1 over 27 root 3 is going to multiply by root 3 over root 3. So 1 times root 3 is root 3, and 27 root 3 times root 3 is going to be 27 times 3. And you're going to work that out. So you're left with root 3 over, I will do 20 times 3, and I will do 7 times 3 and add them together. That is going to be 60, that is going to be 21, add it together, I get 81. So I'm left with root 3 over 81, just like the question wants it to be. Just like the format the question wants it to be in. Okay? Alright, let's move on. All right, given that x squared minus 6x plus 1 equals x minus a squared plus minus b, find all the values of x. For all the values of x, find the value of a and b. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to complete the square. There is a formula. If you practice it enough, you don't need to know the formula, but I'll give it to you. So it's x plus b over 2 squared minus b over 2 squared, add c. Okay, this is b, this is c. So I'm going to do x minus half of b is 3, so minus 3 squared. Minus half of b is 3 squared, add on the c, which is 1. X minus 3 squared. 3 squared is 9, so subtract 9, add 1. X minus 3 squared minus 8. Now, here, it already has minus a and minus b in the brackets. You just want the value of a and b. So this is a, this is b. A is going to be 3, b is going to be 8. It says write down the coordinates of the turning point. So the turning point is going to be opposite of what's inside here and the same as what's outside here. So it's going to be 3, negative 8. Okay? Right, h is inversely proportional to p. P is directly proportional to root t. Given that h equals 10 and t equals to 144 and p equals 6. Okay, so to say inverse proportion, okay, k is a constant. K is there to show the relationship between your two values. Okay, inverse is k divided, direct is k multiplied. Okay, so to work out inverse proportion, I'm going to do h equals to k divided by p. So I will just work that out for now. So h is 10. 10 equals to k divided by 6. To work out k, I multiply by 6 on both sides of the equation, and I get k equals to 60. I substitute that back into my original equation, and I'm left with h equals to 60 divided by p. That's my formula. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing for p. P is directly proportional to root t. Direct proportion is k multiplied. So p equals k multiplied by root t. Substituting p and t, so 6 equals to k multiplied by root 144. The square root of 144 is equal to 12, so 6 equals to k multiplied by 12. I divided by 12 on both sides of the equation, and I'm left with k equals to 6 over 12, which simplifies to give you a half. You're going to substitute that back into the original equation, and you're left with p equals to 1/2 multiplied by root t. The question said, find a formula for h in terms of t. So you can either substitute the value of p here into the place of this p here, or you can make p the subject for both equations and make them equal to each other. So I'm going to multiply this on both sides. ph equals to 60. I will divide it by h on both sides. P equals to 60 over h. Now that p is the subject for both of these equations, that can equal to that because both of them are equal to p, so I can make them equal to each other. So 60 divided by h equals to 1/2 multiplied by root t. It's 1 divided by 2, so the opposite of divided by 2 is multiplied by 2. I'll do that on both sides of the equation. 60 times 2 is 120. 120 divided by h is root t. I'll multiply by h on both sides. 120 equals h root t. But remember, you want h to be the subject of the formula, so you divide it by root t on both sides. H equals to 120 divided by root t, and now you have the formula for h in terms of t. Okay? All right. Next question. The functions f and g are such that, so that you've got fx and you've got gx. So you need to find the inverse for f. There are 3 steps. Make the equation equal to y. Make x the subject, and then replace the y with x. So you brought y in, kick y back out. So you're going to make the equation 3x minus 1 equal to y. You're then going to make it, that's step 1 done. You're going to make x the subject. So 3x equals to y add 1. Then divided by 3, so x equals to y add 1 divided by 3. You're now going to replace the y with x. So f minus 1x equals to x plus 1 over 3. That's it. X plus 1 over 3. Now, the next question says, given that fgx equals to 2gfx. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to do both of them separately. First, I'm going to do fgx. What does that mean? You're getting the g equation and you're substituting it into the f equation. So you're getting this g equation and you're substituting it into the x value in that g equation right there. So you're doing 3 bracket x squared add 4 bracket minus 1. I will expand this and simplify it. So I get 3x squared add 12 minus 1, which is equal to 3x squared add 11. Now I will do 2gfx. 2gfx. So I'm getting the f equation into the g and then just multiplying it by 2. So I'm getting the f equation, putting it into the x value of the g. And I'm multiplying it by 2. So a big bracket 2. And then bracket 3x minus 1 squared, add 4, and then close the big bracket. Okay, because the whole thing is being multiplied by 2. This becomes double bracket, so we're going to expand it as double bracket. So ignore that 2 for now. 3x minus 1, 3x minus 1, and then the add 4. Expand that out to get 9x squared minus 3x, add 1, add 4. I'm going to simplify that to get 9x squared minus 6x. Don't forget the 4, so add 1, add 4 gives me add 5. Now I'm going to expand this all out with the 2, and I'm going to get 18x squared minus 12x, add 10. It says that fgx equals to 2gfx, so this answer is equal to that answer. So 3x squared, add 11, equals to 18x squared minus 12x, add 10. Now, I need to show that 15x squared minus 12x minus 1 equals 0. I will subtract this on both sides of the equation. So minus 3x squared and minus 11 on both sides of the equation. I'm going to be left with 18x squared take away 3x squared is going to be 15x squared. And then minus 12x. And then 10 take away 11 is minus 1. So this equals to 0. I don't need to factorize and I don't need to go further because that's all I needed to prove. Okay? And this alone is worth 5 marks. So this whole page is worth 7 marks. All right, last question. There are only R for red counters and G for green counters in a bag. A counter is taken at random. The probability that the counter is green is 3 out of 7. Therefore, we automatically know that the probability for red is 4 out of 7 because probability is always out of 1. A counter is put back in the bag. 2 more red counters and 3 more green counters is put in the bag. A counter is taken at random. The probability is green is 6 out of 13. So originally, in terms of algebra, for green, we had 3x. For red, we had 4x. Therefore, the total was going to be 7x. That's it. Okay? Now, we have added 2 red counters and 3 green counters. So now green is going to be 3x, add an additional 3. And red is going to be the 4x, add an additional 2. Therefore, the total, when I now add it up, is going to be 7x, add 5. So this one's kind of an easy algebra question because it just says the probability of the counter is green. So not a double probability, not a quadruple probability, just one probability, the probability of you getting a green. So the probability of you getting a green in terms of algebra is going to be 3x add 3 over 7x add 5. 3x add 3 over 7x add 5, and it's equal to the fraction they've given us, which is 6 over 13. Now, when a fraction is equal to a fraction, you cross multiply. So you multiply the denominator with the opposite numerators. So 13 bracket 3x add 3 equals to 6 bracket 7x add 5. We're going to expand both sides and just rearrange to work out x. So 39x add 39 equals to 42x add 30. I will subtract 30 on both sides of the equation. And so subtract 30, subtract 30. I'm going to get 39x, add 9 equals to 42x. I will subtract 39x on both sides. 9 equals to 3x. Divided by 3 on both sides, x equals to 3. But my answer is not finished there because I need to find the number of red and green counters in the bag originally. So right now, green was 3x, and if the value of x is 3, you're going to do 3 times 3, which is 9. So the green is going to be 9. And the red was 4x, so I replace the x with 3, so 4 times 3 equals 12. So red is going to be 12. And that's it. There's 5 marks for this question, which was easier than most probability questions usually. Thank you so much for watching, guys. All the notes from this paper are in my highlights on Instagram, as well as loads of other notes that I take regularly in my classes. Thank you so much, guys. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye.